Hey everybody, how's it going? Poncheesy here, coming at you straight from the aftermath of 31 straight days of consecutive photo taking and not cleaning up afterwards, aka my room, a fucking mess. So, as you may know, OcTOYber has officially wrapped up, super sick, super tight. A lot of people showed up, a lot of people showed out, for sure. A ton of great artists that I usually don't see a lot of participated, and I saw a lot of new faces as well. So, in last week's episode, I went ahead and did a deep dive into the first 10 days of OcTOYber. But for this week's episode, I want to go ahead and do an overview of all of my final shots for OcTOYber. But that doesn't mean that I won't be doing deep dives and behind the scenes for the next 21 days. I do have footage for all of those shots, and those will be episodes 10 and maybe 11 of Posing Ain't Easy, I'm not sure. So without further ado, go ahead and roll that beautiful bean footage. Woo!
Yo, what's up girls and boys? It's time to make some noise, cause I'm back and I'm on this track now. Let's talk about some plastic toys. You can bet I pose them all. Legends to Dragon Balls, Batman and Kaijus and Kamen Riders, I collect them all. Gotta make sure your pose is tight though. Make sure your lighting's right yo. Keep it contained because you train for this your entire life, bro. So please don't adjust your TV. This is your host Poncheesy. Sit back and relax and learn this fact. Posing ain't easy.
Alright, dawn of the first day. Day one's theme was rarely used figures. You know I had to bust out the Invader Zim boys. I literally never ever see anybody use these figures aside from very seldomly. So I wanted to go ahead and show them some love. Yeah, like you saw in the previous episode, I printed out this entire house. It was a whole process. Good lord. But one of my favorite pieces of imagery from Invader Zim is whenever it's like very menacing and very looming with the Robo Parents in the doorway, and I wanted to go ahead and recreate that. This was super fun to shoot, especially the B-side with the really moody red light. It was pretty tight. Moving right into day two, we're looking at White Hot. Yo, like I said before, I never ever used to shoot White Hot, and I definitely made up for lost time this month because you're gonna see a lot of White Hot, let me tell you. Anyway, this is kind of a triple threat. I haven't shot my Gogeta yet, I have not shot this Vegeta yet, and I haven't shot any promotional material for this Wave 3 Aura yet. So I went ahead and killed 3 birds with one stone. Yo, make it a quadruple threat because this was my shot for the day. Yeah, this is so dumb. Day 3 was no diorama, no problem. Went ahead and went a little meta with this one. So stupid. I got my Spidey son, you know, going against the grain, shooting a photo with a diorama, being a photo without a diorama. We are basically in the deepest level of the Matrix right now. I made this little diorama at a 1/4" PVC moments before I took the picture. I made a whole other one at work and I left it at work. So I was down to the wire and I just had to make a new diorama, and it turned out way better than the one I made earlier that day. It's weird how that stuff works out. This day's theme was Friday Night Fights, and of course I had to bust out the Street Fighter figures, and of course I had to put them in one of my favorite dioramas that I've made that I never get to shoot. I just remember that this day was the first day where I didn't really have that aha moment with an idea for a shot. I kind of struggled with what to do this day, and I don't want to say that I copped out. Like I said in the previous episode, my main goal was to put out content. So this was one of the first times where I was like, you know what? Even though I'm not really feeling it, I just want to go ahead and put something out. Because in the end, I knew I would feel better about putting something out versus not. And I did. The theme for day 5 was Blockbuster, and this is one of my favorite shots from the entire event. This scene from King of the Monsters is one of my favorite scenes of all time, and I knew that I wouldn't accept anything less than my best when it came to recreating this shot. I incorporated a lot of techniques that were definitely new ground to me. I stepped out of my comfort zone a lot, and the end result is something that I am legitimately and truly proud of. This was the first shot from my OcTOYber run that actually blew up on multiple social platforms, and I am not mad at that, not at all. Speaking of blowing up, day 6, partners. The tried and true recipe for getting a lot of likes is recreating a meme. I've learned, but I didn't just do it for the gram. Let me tell you, man, I truly enjoy this Shaggy meme. I remember watching Super and watching this meme unfold in the forums and boards and, you know, Facebook groups and all that stuff. So when it comes to Ultra Instinct Shaggy, it's more than a meme, it's a lifestyle. Yeah, but this one was super cool to set up. Of course, this Shaggy custom is Man, I gotta do a whole episode on that, as well as this Scooby custom. I just had a lot of fun setting it up. I didn't get a chance to shoot these guys yet, and it was fun finally breaking them out and showing everybody that, yes, these do exist, and they look good. Day 7's theme was the heist, and to be completely honest, this was one of the first days where a shot didn't really work out. Like, the idea that I had in my head didn't really translate that well in camera. And it's pretty harsh to say, but I was a little disappointed with this one. I like the way the colors came out. I like the idea. It's just the framing and, you know, just selling my idea didn't really work out. What was supposed to be happening was Doctor Strange was opening up, like, you know, a portal, and he was about to steal, you know, the Infinity Gauntlet. At first I wanted to have like a laser protective system, but I couldn't get the lasers to show up in camera. And then in the final shot, it's kind of hard to make out that his hand is coming through a portal. I don't know. There are two shots that I truly wish that I could redo for this event, and this is one of them for sure. The next theme was Femme Fatales, and I really like the way this one came out. Once again, hitting up our new old friend, White Hot, aka I don't have a background. But of course, like everybody else, when it comes to Power Rangers, Super Sentai, like, just the excessive amount of backflips and acrobatics and just cutting gainers. Man, something I've always wanted to illustrate in a photo, and I got my chance, 100%. Of course, I'm not made of money or determination, so I didn't buy multiple Green Ranger putty 2-packs, so I only had one putty, so I opted for these 1000 Toys synthetic humans, and I feel like it worked out. Partners was the theme for day 9, and I remember this was the point where I decided I didn't want to lean too heavily on Dragon Ball. We will see how that pans out in the rest of the month. And it was at this point where I really decided to bust out some rarely used figures as often as I could and really step out of my comfort zone, because my comfort zone is definitely Dragon Ball. And I'm glad I did, because I got some pretty cool shots. This one in particular, I really like the dynamic of War Greymon and Metal Garurumon. And of course, I've had these figures forever, and say it with me if you know the words, I haven't shot them before. So it was cool to get a nice vanilla shot of these two. Day 10's theme was Vegeta and Goku, and quite honestly, I was a little surprised that we went with such a specific theme. I mean, getting everybody to shoot just Vegeta and Goku, you know, it was brave of us to do. Not really. Today's theme was frenemies. It's just everybody shot Vegeta and Goku. And I say that as somebody who shot Vegeta and Goku. Honestly, I've had this shot in my head for a very long time. I remember when I got super heavy into collecting Dragon Ball again, I scoured the internet for this healing chamber, and I've wanted to do this shot ever since. And even though it might not look like much, this Vegeta was a nightmare to put together. At first I was going to do a normal Namek Vegeta where he didn't have his side skirts, but then I was like, let's go ahead and, you know, up the ante. Let's do it to where he just doesn't have his shoulder pads. So I was going to try and customize really quick. It's the dumbest idea to customize something really quick. Didn't necessarily work out. So ultimately I just decided to take the Majin Vegeta, take his arms off, take the arms off of the Scouter Vegeta, and put him on the Majin Vegeta body. Now, the only problem with that is the pegs don't fit, so this guy is definitely being held up with tack. And I'm not even sure if the pegs will go back in. I mean, common sense is telling me that it will, but I'm expecting they won't. This is just my life now. Day 11's theme was Slice and Dice, and another photo that I was extremely proud of. I never really mess with a lot of depth and a lot of layering, so during OcTOYber, that's something I really wanted to focus on. And I really tried to show that off in this photo right here. There's a lot of layering going on. I used my Hall of Armor stuff back here. I had like a bunch of polyester in the back to simulate explosions. And of course, you know, I got Black Zero doing 3-sword style, really showing out. Man, this was a super cool photo. And I am so pleased with the way it came out, for sure. I had a couple of different ideas for Day 12's theme, which was Flight, but ultimately I went with this one. Obviously, the animation throughout the entire Broly movie was really great, but this scene specifically is something I really love. Just the idea of Vegeta and Broly fighting and just like zooming past Goku and like, yo, he looks so pleased and so happy to watch them fighting. It's so great. And of course, like, his coat was like whipping in the wind and his hair was like flowing back. It's just a really great like freeze frame of that movie. And a huge shout out to CJ for this incredible coat. Originally, when I set this up, I had a whole bunch of poly on the ground to simulate like them, you know, clearing out a path in the snow of them flying around. But unfortunately, when going with white hot, a lot of that stuff got lost in the exposure. But it wasn't for nothing. The polyester that was there was able to hide stands and was able to create some layering as well. And overall, I think it turned out pretty good. Day 13's theme was Origins, and I went with something pretty close to me. Legend of Zelda is one of my favorite franchises of all time, and there's a one-shot webcomic out there that depicts the first time that Link gets the sword from the old man in the cave. And ever since I saw that comic, it has always stuck with me, and I've always wanted to recreate it. With this shot, once again, I tried to experiment with layering and depth. And in the end result, I think I was able to successfully really recreate a cave, like a deep cave. But obviously that's not the focal point of this photo. It's it's Link and the old man. This was once again the first time shooting this Figma Link. I bought this thing 3 years ago, good lord. And this old man is a kit bash of a SH Figure Arts Bruce Lee with a Black Series cape and a Master Roshi head. My favorite part about this photo is just the mood that I was able to capture, but my biggest takeaway from this photo is that with the power of kit bashing, almost anything is possible, because they sure as hell don't make an old man figure from Legend of Zelda, but I found a way. Day 14's theme was Got You Covered, and a lot of people interpreted this as a partner having your back or whatnot, but if you're a veteran of ACBA competitions, then you know that the ACBA version of this theme is recreating or creating a comic book cover or any kind of cover you want. A lot of people went with video games or DVDs, movies, whatever, but I obviously went with Dragon Ball because I'm me. And like I said, this was one of my favorite ones to set up, just the whole process. I loved creating this cutout of the comic book cover. I knew that since it was going to be a comic book cover in one full image, I wouldn't be able to slap my watermark on there because it would just break up the flow a lot. And so I decided to incorporate my watermark into the comic book cover, so it says Panchisi Comics instead of Shonen Jump Comics, and it says artwork by not only Akira Toriyama but Pancho Joshi as well. So there's a lot of small things about this that I really liked. On the other side of the spectrum, I searched everywhere for my first form Frieza. I could not find him, so I decided to switch it up, and I do like the way it came out versus what I originally thought of, which would have first form Frieza in it. And of course, it's always really cool to bust out my Real Action Heroes Goku. I remember when I first got this guy, I was like, yeah, this is my favorite Goku ever, just because it's able to capture like that super 90s aesthetic of early Dragon Ball Z Goku. I really love it. Yo, there is so much more I could say about this shot. I could literally talk about this shot for hours. It is quite honestly my favorite shot of the entire month. I'm going to say it right now. Don't at me. But what more can I say? I just really enjoyed this shot, and I had a lot of fun shooting it. So when it came to day 15, I wanted to go ahead and do something a little simple. I really put a lot into the previous day, so I just wanted to kind of take it easy. It was for nothing because I was still up until like 12 o'clock at night, just making the rounds with this photo. But it was super simple, just 17 and Piccolo meeting in the mines, baby. These two guys hated each other, and they're making up, showing mad respect for each other. And I love this scene, so I decided to shoot it. Literally nothing more and nothing less. So, riding off the high of the last couple of days, I went into day 16, not expecting it to completely humble me. 100%. This is one of those ideas that I've had in my head for a very long time, and it's just in your head so long that it's just built up. And no matter what I tried to do, I couldn't get it to look right. This is supposed to be the scene where he's doing the final Kamehameha push, and the entire beam envelops his whole body, and it's this big fat beam just obliterating Cell, but I just couldn't get it to work. I really tried hard with this one, but it's just one of those ideas that you just aren't ready for yet. I definitely have to go back to the drawing board with this one, but I still wanted to see out the setup that I put together, and even though I wasn't 100% pleased with it, I did end up shooting it at the end of the day. It definitely had nothing to do with it being 11:30 at night and I had to put a photo up. I just wanted to see something through, alright? Day 17's theme was Resurrection, and once again, this is another theme that I really wanted to nail. The scene this is based off in Dragon Ball Super is one of my favorite scenes from the entire series, so I knew I had to do it some justice. Once again, there's a lot of layering and depth going on in here, and I really wanted to emphasize lighting and just really natural kind of posing here. The figure I'm using here is a Kit Bashmaster Roshi. I'm using a Figma Bruce Lee body with a WCF head and a shirt from GPS Lot. Overall, I'm super happy about the way this one came out. It's definitely one of my favorites from the month. Day 18's theme was Betrayal, and this is one that I struggled with for sure. But in the end, I kind of came up with this right here with Spider-Son dogging Amazing Spider-Man for his weirdo shoes. Originally, when I was setting it up on the table, it was kind of more of a Spider-Verse kind of thing where I had Tom Holland in there with some other Spider-Men. But as I was building the scene out, it got more and more cluttered, so I kind of just kept it to 2. And with so little figures, it really didn't make sense that it was only 2 guys being Spider-Verse, so I just swapped it out for Doctor Strange. And then by then, it was so far removed from my original idea, it just came off that I was doing a what are those meme. So in the end, at the time of posting it, I wasn't feeling it at all, but it has grown on me. And in the end, it wasn't for nothing because I did get to work on my symmetry. When day 19 rolled around, I was super excited. Noir was the theme for today, and I had been looking forward to shooting something like this for a long time. I'd gotten this Sherlock Hound figure forever ago, and I knew that this was the perfect time to bust it out. I went ahead and put together my favorite diorama, built a scene, busted out my fog machine again, and I just had a super fun time putting this whole thing together. I really love everything about this photo, the framing, the setup, the atmosphere, everything about it. I really enjoy. I said it in the Facebook group, this may not be my favorite picture that I've taken this month, but it is my favorite picture I've taken this month, if that makes sense, which I know it doesn't, but does it? Stupid. Rolling right into day 20, Natural Gifts was the theme for today, and I went with, of course, some more rarely used Heat Harry Potter figures in the mix. Yo, I love these figures, they just don't get a lot of love in the community, which sucks. It kind of stings to see these guys constantly on clearance. Please support this line. Anyway, I kind of had this one on the back burner for Flight, actually, but then I thought, hey, Natural Gifts would work too because Harry is naturally a super great, broomstick handler. Pause. God! But once again, I busted out White Hot and just threw a couple of guys in the background, some wind effects, and, boom, you got yourself a picture. Day 21, Universes Collide. Yo, big shout out to David Walton. When I posted my partners, he was like, yo, why isn't this Universes Collide? And I was like, damn it, David. And of course that made perfect sense, so I went with the recreation of this incredible scene from Dragon Ball Super. I love this scene where Goku first unlocks Ultra Instinct, takes that first step, and before he can finish it, he's immediately body reacting on its own, attacking Jiren. So sick. So of course I had to spice it up a little bit with stupid Shaggy. I had a lot of fun with the setting up in this one, hiding the stands with the polyester, cracking this Jiren in half so I can get him to crouch. Big shout out to Dragon Stars. And it was just really fun to shoot, and it was received really well too, so yo, win-win. Mechanical was the move for day 22, and I was kind of racking my brain all day figuring what to do. I was like, should I do an Iron Giant, maybe a Mechagodzilla, or Gundam? And then I was like, of course, man. Ready Player One, one of the coolest movies of the last couple of years, honestly. Not as good as the book, but they tried. Has all 3 of these guys, and I was like, you know what? Let's do it. No question. Of course, this is inspired by one of the raddest scenes in the entire movie, and I just had a lot of fun. Balancing it was hard, but it was worth it. Day 23 was Raw Rage, and everybody, including myself, was expecting me to pull out Dragon Ball, of course, my tried and true bread and butter. Works perfectly with Raw Rage, but I was like, you know what? No. I've got to resurrect one of the greatest vines of all time. With Spider-Man, no doubt. With this shot, I got a chance to finally use my newest diorama that I made. I got a chance to work on my cutout game, my no strings attached game. Overall, it was just super fun to shoot, and I was laughing throughout the entire thing. It was so funny, especially when I finally set it all up and put all the panels together. This day's theme was costume change, and it's another one that I had on the back burner for a long time. Ever since I got this Guillermo del Toro figure, I wanted to do a setup where he was kind of directing Pacific Rim, but using practical effects and guys in suits and whatnot. And this is kind of them just having a chat and setting it up as this guy's getting his costume fitted on him. But unfortunately, it didn't really come together. I think it really came down to my prop game and my setup and stuff. I wasn't really able to paint the picture that they're on a movie set. And unfortunately, it didn't come together. And misplacing Guillermo's glasses for a dumb custom of myself certainly didn't help. Next up was Friendship, and I knew this was the perfect opportunity to shoot my favorite figure from last year, my Iron Giant, once again, but this time I wanted him to be the focus. And the Hogarth here is actually the first thing I ever 3D printed and painted, so I wanted to stick him in there too. So since I knew this was going to be a pretty simple shot, I really wanted to focus on natural posing. So I spent a lot of time tweaking and adjusting and just fine-tuning the posing on Iron Giant here. And I'm just super pleased with the way it came out. Not only the posing, but the colors really popped too. And that was just a nice cherry on top. Day 26 was Nightmare. This is another theme that I struggled with a little bit. I don't really have a lot of horror figures or nightmarish figures, so of course, I go back to Dragon Ball. One of the neat things I did for this shot was the kit bash for Gohan. I've wanted a Battle Armor Gohan for a super long time, and I never realized that this old-ass figure that I had was the perfect scale for a kid body. Overall, this is one of the shots that I just feel okay about, but it was received pretty well. So it's kind of a mixed bag. Day 27 was still motion. This one took a lot of effort and a lot of work, and unfortunately, I don't really feel the best about it. It's really hard to pinpoint exactly why it didn't really work out. Maybe it was Broly's pose, maybe it was the lack of a proper energy effect for Broly. I just used a bunch of different energy effects kind of kit bashed together. But if there's one good takeaway, I was able to work on balancing and stand hiding and all that stuff, and it's always fun to do still motion. I just wish the picture was better. Food Fight was the name of the game on the 28th, and unfortunately, once again, missed the mark. Like, the photo itself is good. I like the colors. I think they pop. I like the framing. But unfortunately, when it came to the setup, I failed at telling the story. So what's supposed to be happening is Boo has just turned Krillin or somebody into a sundae, and he's just like avoiding him. Originally, I wanted to do Vegito as a piece of chocolate and fighting Boo, but that version of Boo does not exist yet. So I went with this instead. And this is something that I had in my head for so long, and I was so used to it making sense that I didn't really think about an audience getting it. But luckily I got my groove back doing Day 29's theme, This Is How It Ends. I never really do huge group shots, and it was super fun to put together. And one of the things I wanted to emphasize a lot here was subtle differences in posing between panels, like everybody looking at the hammer and then everybody getting pumped up. Something that just worked out really nice was that Hulk came with 3 expressions, and it worked really well using all 3. This is of course one of the best parts in the entire movie, super hyped, and I had a lot of fun bringing it to life. Day 30, Mischief is the theme, and yo, this was mischievous for sure. Is the theme cursed? Who knows? Stupid. What I mean by that is this display fell over about 4 times before I finally got a chance to shoot it. Good lord. I really wanted to emphasize Imperfect Cell searching and scouring the city for, people to drink, basically. Of course, one more thing had to go wrong and my camera died. By the time I got everything set up, it was like 11:40. My camera died in the last photo, and unfortunately, I just didn't get a chance to hide this John Wick's face as much as I wanted to. So every single comment was like, yo, is that John Wick? Yeah, I can't complain though. Here we are at the dawn of the final day, Day 31. I ain't afraid of no ghost. Yo, we did it, man. 31 days of consecutive photos. Man, I can't believe it. Wanted to top out the month with my favorite ghost, Gengar, in the mix. I wanted to make it dynamic. I wanted to make it vibrant and fun. And according to the reception I got, I did that. When I was setting this up, I was trying to look for that final element that really would make it pop, and this wind effect was exactly what I needed. And since it was the last day, I didn't stop here. I wanted to go ahead and double it up, and I did another photo. And just like the previous one, I really wanted to show out when it came to cutouts. Cutouts are definitely a pillar in ACBA. I think it's what truly helps us carve out our little niche pocket in toy photography. So I really wanted to bookend the month with some textbook examples of cutouts. Much like the Gengar, I painstakingly cut these Gotenks ghosts out. Yo, these took forever. But the end results were definitely worth it. When it came to this shot specifically, I went the extra mile and really upped the grain in my camera settings so I could get that really old 90s Dragon Ball aesthetic look. And it really was fun to shoot. Even though I did 2 photos this day, it was so low stress that I was just able to have just tons of fun taking both of these photos. I think it had a lot to do with it being the last day, and I knew that after this I would finally be free. But who really knows? It's a real mystery. All right, and there you have it. 31 days of consecutive photo taking. Yo, I literally did not think I could do it. There's no punchline there. I really thought I couldn't do it. But luckily I powered through it and I was able to hit my goal. If you've been a fan of this show since it started, you will know I am not very good at following through on toy photography. Stupid. So the main goal of this month was definitely staying consistent and actually taking a photo and following through for all 31 days consecutively without taking a break and doing it all on time. And although it came down to the wire on a couple of days, I'm talking 11:59, I still posted a new photo every day somewhere. And honestly, I don't think I could have done it without the motivation of everybody else in the group, 100%. When I first came to the rest of the admin team with this idea, I wasn't really sure how it would be received, and I wasn't really sure how it was going to be received by the rest of the community, and I literally never expected it to be so successful. And I just want to say thanks to everybody, for real. To all the artists out there that took photos, and to all their followers that liked, commented, and shared all their photos, and to literally anybody who took part in OcTOYber, thank you. Anyway, that about does it for today's episode of Posing Ain't Easy. Like I said, for the more deep dive and behind the scenes shots, 2 more episodes will be coming out in the future. Near or far, it will be coming out. And as always, if you want to keep up with me, you know exactly what to do here on YouTube. On Instagram, you can find me at Poncheesy. I also do Twitter stuff every now and then at Poncheesy as well. Now that OcTOYber is finally over, I can finally get back to other things. Who knows what it could be? I don't know. As always, thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you for continuing to support my content, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Love you. Bye.
この世界の片隅で今を生きる僕らは涙を越えて光の誘え僕らの信じてるこの夢や理想は目を離した隙に壊れてしまいそうだ何千万億千年なフラッシュバックスローモーション空の下消し去ってしまいたい音のリアル予測不能1秒先の心を奪われていたずらに傷つけられたら何かがどこから溢れて止まらないこの世界の片隅で今を生きる僕らは涙を越えて光の誘え0か1か10か100か答えを探してる何度でも何度でも響き合う心の音 Yes, no
ほう、向かってくるのか。